That is a huge try.
What a pass again. Oh, that's a bullet ball.
Opens up. Huge hole through the middle.
And Danny Norman charging up the field for a team, trying to get them home in this series.
You are listening to the Touch Heads podcast. Here are your hosts, Danny Norman and Mitch Walkerton.
G'day, Touch Heads, and welcome to another episode of the Touch Heads podcast. I'm Mitch Walkerton, my co-host, Danny Norman. How are you, Danny?
I'm good, mate. We have an epic episode ahead of us today, and I'm so bloody excited for it.
How good, hey? Can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. You guys better strap in. If you're listening to us in your car right now, make sure your seatbelt's on. If you're watching us on YouTube, get comfy because this is a really exciting episode. We've got Marcus Ashcroft and Christian Frost coming on later, to both representatives of TFA, and they're coming on to have a chat with us and answer a few of our questions and just, you know, fill us in on what's been going on in the world of touch football Australia, which we're super, super excited about.
Yeah, absolutely pumped. Danny, before we jump into it, can we ask our viewers who are watching or listening to also subscribe? So we are sort of seeing some nice comments, some good feedback. We know that the episodes are being watched on Spotify and YouTube. The request is, please, Touch Heads, if you could click on the subscribe button, then it'll automatically drop into your feed or wherever you get your good and your bad podcasts on Wednesday when we drop them.
Absolutely. We're talking about get on YouTube and subscribe, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and make sure that you're following us on Spotify as well. I've actually just noticed that you can comment on Spotify, Mitch. That's a new thing I didn't know you could do.
Okay.
We put out weekly polls on Spotify for you to answer after you've listened to our episode. So, yeah, just make sure you get involved and get behind it like you are already. We have seen so much growth in the first couple of weeks, and we are super excited. But, yeah, continue to subscribe, like, follow, share. That is what we're asking.
That's it.
Hey, Mitch, before we take a quick break to get into our special guests, our VIPs, what's your pit and peak of the week?
Yeah, so I will say my pit of the week is a $3,000 excess for my daughter who crashed the car. Yeah. So,
oh, no. Evie. I shouldn't laugh, but we've all been there. Guilty.
Yeah. So that's like, oh, wow.
Stings. Who's paying for that? You?
Yeah, I'll pay for that. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And my peak of the week, I don't have anything. I've just had a really good week. Like, I haven't had drama. Just, you know, eating healthy. Just everyone seems to be getting along in my life. Like, I don't have anything that I can drill down and say this specific thing. It's just, things are good. It's calm.
Everything's LG. Life's good. That's awesome.
That's what I'm looking for. Thanks.
Nice. There you go. No worries. Pit and peak. All right. Well, my pit would be that at the moment, I feel like I'm wearing too many hats. And what I mean by that metaphorically is that I'm wearing my mum hat, my wife hat, my teaching hat, my program coordinator hat for touch football at school, teammate hat, friend hat. Like, I just feel like I'm wearing so many hats and juggling so many balls at the moment that it's just feeling a little bit overwhelming. I actually mentioned the same podcaster last week on last week's episode, the Mel Robbins podcast, and I listened to an epic episode a couple of days ago when I was feeling really overwhelmed about the difference between stress and overwhelm, and that's really helped me reset, I guess, and find my feet again. I've just felt like I'm all over the shop at the moment, just so busy. But yeah, that podcast really helped me. I might share that on our stories for everyone because I know at this time of year, people start to feel like that.
Yeah.
And my peak, which is so exciting, Kez and Greg have done a huge house reno at their place. So they've just done a full makeover, have just moved back in. But the exciting part to that is they let me be a part of it because, well, my dream is to go on the block. And but Pete won't go on with me. So I need a partner. Anyone that wants to go on the block, reach out. They've just moved back in and I've helped them with a few little things and picks for their house. So it's nice to see it all come together. But the biggest peak for me this week, and anyone that knows Kerry will laugh when they hear this, but I had to take her shopping yesterday to pick out some new towels and little decor things around the house, and that was 100% the pit of her week, but it was the peak of my week.
Right.
So Yes, very exciting.
Lovely.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break, Mitch, and then we're going to jump in with our VIPs. And like I said, guys, strap in because this is going to be an awesome ep.
Touchheads, we've got a couple of special guests. We have the CEO of TFA, Marcus Ashcroft, who's joining us via phone. And we have the elected director and chairperson of TFA, Christian Frost. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us, Mitch. Really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Mitch and Danny. Yeah, appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
If you guys don't mind, we're just going to start by maybe reading through your rap sheet. So I'm going to start with you, Frosty. So you're the elected director and chairperson of the TFA board, have an MBA, Bachelor of Science in Psychology, Safety and Human Resources, have over 20 years of experience in strategy development and governance, holding executive leadership roles in major infrastructure and media organisations. I can't even pronounce half of those words, and I'm a teacher. He has been deeply involved in touch football as a player, ref, administrator, coach, representing at New South Wales. It was actually my New South Wales Origin coach at one point in time. Plus has represented Australia at Touch World Cups. That is quite the rap sheet.
It is.
Thanks, Danny.
Very, very impressive.
Great to be on this podcast.
So Marcus's rap sheet, and you better get yourself a cup of tea and sit down. A 3-time premiership player for the Brisbane Lions, or the Bears as they were known, back with Black and Ackermanis and Lee Matthews as the coach. Played 318 games all up, retired from the AFL in 2003, started in 1989. Sorry, Marcus, to make you feel old. Spent 1 year at Southport as an AF assistant coach, then went to Broadbeach as a development manager. 2006, for 2 years, the football operations manager with the Brisbane Lions. And then when the Gold Coast Suns entered the league in 2008, GM of football operations up until 2017. 2018 to 2020, employed by the AFL as a National Talent Pathways Manager. 2020 to 2025, CEO of the Sandringham VFL Club for a period of 4 years. And in March 2025, joined TFA as the CEO. But I haven't finished there. From a family point of view, son Will has won 2 Norm Smiths in the AFL. Other son Levi, number 5 draft pick for the Lions, wins a comp in his debut season. And youngest daughter Lily is an AFL Elite Pathways program. She'll probably go to the Olympics and win multiple medals as well. It's in the genes. Marcus, we're lucky to have you in the touch community.
No, thank you, Mitch. I've been very lucky over a long period of time, and I love being called the father of over the last few years because it seems so long ago that I played, and love sitting back and watching my kids achieve all of their dreams. I do have to correct you. My daughter's name is Lucy.
Mitchell. Sorry,
Mitchell,
Lucy.
Come on, one job, man. Get the name right. Hey, Marcus, what did you know about touch football prior to starting the interview process for the role as CEO?
Well, being a Queensland young lad, I grew up with touch, went to a rugby league school at Merrimack State High. So played some league as a kid coming through. With touch, also played that at school. And then over my journey, my kids played it at school. My wife was a representative touch player for South Coast coming through. So it wasn't a foreign game to me. I did grow up with it as I did with league. I just chose the AFL path as a profession going forward. So now that I've come back to it after many years, I'm so grateful for this opportunity and really enjoying being part of the community.
That's really interesting that you say that because touch is obviously recognised as such a feeder sport into many sports, and it's such a base sport that many kids in Australia grew up with or played at school or involved in some way. So it's awesome to know that the man leading us, leading the way rather, is in the same boat as many Australians in regards to touch football. So I guess my next question is, why did you take on the role at TFA and what excites you about being in this position?
Well, I guess not only being a great sport and a sport that's played by so many, I've got great trust in in our leadership through Christian and our board. And I guess what really sold me the role was the opportunity to be able to come in and really make a difference. So for me, having had many years as a player and administrator in a different sport, coming across to a sport which I do really love, to be able to be given a chance to, I guess, be a custodian for a period of time to make it better than when I first started, and the opportunity to really make it great. And I'm coming in with, I guess, some leadership experience from a different sport, but I think leadership from any sport is always the same. And I come in hopefully to make a difference, to transform the sport from where it is right now to be great over the next 10, 20, 30 years' time.
And do you have any real specific vision on where you see the sport being in 10, 15 years' time?
Yeah, I do. I think we'd love to just keep growing the game. It's a game, as I first said, that's played by so many, like very diverse, from as young as 4 up to people as old as 80, and by so many different people. It's a very inclusive sport. So I think there's so much opportunity to grow that and to give more young people a chance to use the sport as a starting springboard into whatever they might do going forward. We have this aspiration to, hopefully be an Olympic sport. Now, if we don't achieve that for 2032, then we're not going to give up hope for future years beyond that. So to be able to really grow and enhance our talent pathway is another opportunity. I think we can really make leaps and bounds in our sport. And I think just generally the way we set it up for success, there's so many ways in which we can have some quick wins along the way, but over the medium and longer term, to be able to get the participation numbers to where we think it can be. I think it can be the highest participated sport within the country, and that's a pretty lofty standard, but I think the aspiration is there, and we've got some great motivation amongst our staff to hopefully get there, and that's a medium to long-term goal. But I genuinely believe that it's a great sport that everyone really loves. It's played by so many families can play it together. So I think longer term, we want it to be a sport that's played by the most amount of people within the country.
That's awesome.
Frosty, it's very exciting. And I think the fact that, Marcus, with a very strong background in AFL, would obviously then attract, I guess, our alliance states as well, where we want to see participation continue to increase.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Marcus's brand, particularly in those alliance states, is really strong, and his credibility is really high. Importantly, one of Marcus's first priorities was to actually get out and visit all of our members, so that's New South Wales, Queensland, but all of the alliance states. And I think he's pretty tired at the moment. So last week I think they finished stuff in Dubbo, but they literally have been around the clock travelling the country, meeting with affiliates and making sure that we really listened and understood, what's working, but also the things that they wanted to see in the future. So, yeah, I agree. His profile is great, but it's not about the profile really for me. It's around the leadership skills, the integrity as a person, and just how he treats people in our community. So, that's really important.
No, fantastic. Can I talk about NTLs? And then we'll throw open some questions. From a bullet point, a number of changes. Danny and I covered this on one of our earlier episodes, and we love it. We love the
fans.
Changes.
What do you love?
Well, you've gone back to 4 days. And
Yep.
finals on Saturdays. No longer. It was unfortunate, but going home on Sundays, it doesn't have the same atmosphere when you've got, the whole stands. People stick around. They want to watch the best of the best play. In that social environment. For men's opens, women's opens, mixed opens in the 20s, we've gone back to 40-minute games,
Yep.
2 20-minute halves, which. Again, Danny and I gave that huge ticks. A lot of our tournaments that we certainly play here in New South Wales is turnaround, 30 minutes. So, I think that's a great addition. For senior mixed, men's 40s, women's 35s and above, teams can use 16 players per match, helping combat, injuries and whatnot. And then you've also incorporated... There are still, clubs still will be able to participate, as well as regions. Players must trial for their regional state team in the first instance and or be endorsed by their region in order to trial for an affiliate team. So, as the chairperson of TFA, how did these decisions be made?
Yeah, thanks. So probably if I just step back a little bit, one of the things that we were hearing loud and clear earlier in the year from members all across the sport was, can we look at the touch calendar? So from the fit tournaments down through to all of our state-based events that we run, people were asking for it to be streamlined, but as well some clearer pathways. So that work's ongoing. So we've got a good community of people working on a streamlined calendar from across organisations, which is great. NTL's part of that. So next year, what Marcus and the team have committed to doing is looking at the NTL in the future. So for our community, what is it that you want that event to represent, and what sort of experiences do you want as a result of that event? And so Marcus will look at the venue. They'll look at alternate teams to come in. So it could be that we look at New Zealand, and are there county teams that could come in and compete against some of our best permits and regions? Could we look at international teams to genuinely compete out of Asia, or even FIT might have some other teams that come in? So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying that that's part of the conversation, and turning it into a bit of a festival and a celebration of touch footy is really important. For us, we heard loud and clear through the visits with the Alliance states that pathway's really important, and the passion and the pride to represent their state. So in particular Victoria, we heard that really loudly, wanting to represent the Storm because they're known as the Melbourne Storm. So how do we make sure that we're all behind that one particular franchise? So we heard that. The other aspect, as you know, that there was a pilot that TFA ran that was a couple of years or a couple of tournaments where we allowed for, affiliates to go in. So it's fair to say that had some benefits as well. We saw some really good things that came out of it, but also there was a bit of noise that we were hearing. So we concluded that pilot. We committed to a 2-year pilot. We concluded that, and we're going to a 1-year region-focused event. Now, we're not saying no to affiliates, but region-focused. But in that time, we'll not only run a great event in March, but we're going to be listening and designing your NTL of the future. So now's the time to get involved. So by about March next year, we'll announce what NTL looks like for 27 and beyond. So that's the broad update. This experiment that we're running with the older divisions, Mitch, that you spoke about, as you know, we've got to try and keep people in the game. And now I classify myself as old. And it's those older divisions where participation drops off a little bit. So what can we do in our sport to keep those older people engaged? And maybe, rather than having a couple of people on the sideline, maybe it's better for them and the team that they're on the field. So there's less fatigue, less injury, and they're going away, yes, to win and be competitive, but they're also going away to hang out with their mates.
Yeah.
So that's an experiment. We're going to see how it goes, but we wanted to try something to keep us more mature people in the game for longer. So we'll see how that goes.
That's a nice way to put it. Nice, mature people. I'm nearly in that category.
Oh, please, Danny.
You got a few years left.
I actually laughed before when Marcus was talking about the age brackets, and he said, from the age of 4, and I thought he was going to say 40, and I was about to jump in and say these two, but no, I'm not going to. Hey, Frosty, what feedback have you received feedback so far with the changes? Anything negative? Like, have you had any negative feedback?
Broadly, the feedback is like the reaction from both of you, really positive. And I think what's important is the feedback is super excited about helping to have some input into what the future of NTL will look like from 26. So I want to say that that's probably the strongest bit of feedback. Not a lot of negative feedback. It's more around how do we support regions and affiliates work together, where they've got to have a conversation about whether players are going to go for the region or the... So it's not negative, it's more how's that going to work. So that's it.
Yeah, that's great. And I think you said it before, obviously, you're using 2026 as a bit of like a 1-year sort of pilot to go back to the future and see how that works. And you'll obviously be getting so much feedback to use for planning into 2027. So I think people listening to this will get a lot of clarity out of it, but also a bit of not closure. It's not like something's passed, but just to know and be comforted by the fact that you guys are constantly reviewing, readjusting, changing, and moving with the game is really exciting. So that's great. Marcus, I'm going to jump over to you again, and we're going to kind of go back to that Olympic chat that you mentioned before. So has Touch Football put in a 2032 bid? How is it going, and what's the latest on that?
Yeah, great question. We're working really closely with the NRL, and it's a really positive story with our relationship with the NRL. Since I've been involved anyway, it's collaborative, it's inclusive, and it's really closely aligned. So we're working hand in glove with those guys to ensure we give ourselves the best chance to, enable all the things we want to do with an Olympic bid. We're still waiting for them to give us, the clear go-ahead to provide all of the backup around process and criteria to help them be best equipped they can be to launch the bid. We know the NRL are influential in their dealings with many people from the IOC, some committees that are international. So we're letting them take the lead on that right now. But going forward, when we're in a position to help work with them, also to work with FIT and our other states, we're really well positioned to give it our best shot. So we're optimistic that we'll be successful, but if not, we'll keep pushing and trying for future years if 2032 doesn't eventuate.
That's awesome. And would it, just the second part to that question is, would it look like a men's, women's and mixed division if that was the case? Is that what you're sort of going for?
Yeah, I think so. I think what's really unique about our game is the mixed option, and I think that brings a unique slant to it if we get to the point where we need to decide on what it might look like. But I think for us too is with this Olympic aspiration, we've also been working over the last few months on our strategic plan as well, which is a 5 to 7 year cycle aligning with hopefully a successful Olympics bid. And when we talk about having aspirations for the Olympics, we're also setting ourselves up with the sport to be as elite as we can be in all aspects of what we do. So I think the Olympic aspiration is a great thing for us to take the sport to another level, to elevate ourselves to a point where we can really achieve some great things. So we think it aligns really well with what we're trying to achieve in the next 5 to 7 years.
That's great. I'm going to be retired from women's by then, though. So if you have a job for Mitch and I on media, we will happily take it.
We'll stuff that up with wrong names and whatnot.
Don't get the name wrong. Do not get his name wrong, Mitch. Seriously.
No, that's right. Frosty,
Yep.
are there other initiatives, part of the strategic plan, that you can potentially share with the touch heads out there?
Yeah, so some of the things that we're working on. And Marcus, maybe a bit of a conversation, you and I, so feel free to jump in anytime. But like, there's some small things that we've done recently to help our community and to show that we're responsive. So while we've got a 7-year plan, we don't all have to wait for 7 years to see some things. Small things like the merit teams that were announced with NYC.
I love
really
that.
Important. And responsive feedback. The community wanted to see more done in that space, and just the fact that we're able to announce, these merit teams. I know for a fact that there's kids that are getting some recognition in their community just for being named, which I think is fantastic.
So nice, hey, Danny?
It's awesome, and it's so important at that age. It really is.
So that's one small thing. We know that there are some headwinds in sport in Australia. So being a parent, you see it because you're driving your kids around to multiple different sports. So there's a lot of competition, and that does put some pressure on our participation. We also know that there's different types of participation. So people are playing different forms of games, shorter forms, less formal participation. So what we're doing is we're looking at different formats of our game, so that we can continue to grow and keep people in our community. One of our newest directors, Brad Fittler, who's super passionate about touch, he's got a strong relationship with the PCYC. And one of the things that we're doing is we're launching an indoor version of our game. So we're piloting an indoor version. of our game. It actually starts on Thursday in the St George area. Now, the good thing about indoor versions is that it doesn't get washed out.
Yeah.
Can't get rained out. Exactly what I was going to say.
We're looking at short format 30-minute games, and people can drop in and play. Now, there's about 1,500 PCYCs around the country, and there's a whole range of facilities that we can potentially get access to.
Wow!
If this pilot goes forward, so we've actually run a pilot down at Daceyville. It was filmed. The NRL brought a film crew down. We had some people participate, got the rules right. So that's one example.
Okay.
So we'll keep the community updated on how that pilot's going. It's fun to play. So, and it's similar skills, but it's a bit faster. You actually get a sweat. You get a sweat up a lot quicker, but it's over very quick as well. So you don't have to spend your whole night. You just drop in and go home. There's what else can we share with the market? We've got some new policies.
Okay.
So last week our board met, we endorsed a whole range of new policies, and one of the exciting ones is around how we select and appoint coaches to our national teams and players to our squads. We've spent probably 6 months with some really experienced people across the country from our community. We've also invited some other Olympic sports in to tell us how they do things. And we've actually got a new policy that our board's endorsed. So we want to share that with the community. But what that'll mean is there's a lot more clarity on how you can put your hand up and the process to getting selected for at least national squads. So we're really excited about that because that was some direct feedback that we had. So we've responded to that feedback.
Just from a player's point of view and having been in a national program for over 10 years now, that has 100% been something that we have really lacked and needed for a long time. So I'm really personally excited to see that happening because it just takes our sport to another professional level. If you have those policies in place and there's just no question around selection, appointments, things like that, because we have that policy and that protocol that we follow, it really does professionalise it. And yeah, as a player, I know I'm particularly really, really excited about that. So that's a massive kudos. Well done, TFA.
And that's good feedback, Danny, because I think, and you're Touch royalty, so we know we're talking to someone who knows the game really well. And the thing for me is that when you have your elite teams with such strong governance and integrity around it, then you set yourself up for success because we want to make sure that we elevate the game to a point where you actually feel as though you've achieved something great. So with our selection of our new coaches and our players and team managers going forward, we want to make sure that everyone feels they're a legitimate chance to be involved at the highest level. So when we go through our process, surely you need to be talented, but there's also another filter that goes towards that around values and what do we stand for, and do we have people that live by the values that TFA and the whole of sport want to stand for. So we think by elevating those sort of things, it makes it a lot more prestigious and it carries a lot more weight because let's face it, the players and coaches are the most public facing of our sport of anyone. So we need to make sure that we give it some elevation and some credibility so when they do step into those roles, that they can handle themselves well in front of media or when they're actually role modelling to their teammates, peers, and others around them. So it's good that you actually say that. Some other initiatives that we have been working on in this short period of time is around investing in our alliance states in resources. We know from our trips around the country that every state is very, very different. They're very nuanced in the way they do their business, so we want to set them up for success, and we know that by investing in resources to either have an extra referee coordinator, which we've done that in WA because they need an extra referee resource, or an extra competition manager that might be needed in South Australia, or up in the Northern Territory where we've been able to secure some funding for an extra resource down in Alice. We know across our whole country there are different requirements and needs for each of our states. So from our point of view, we need to set them up for success and to give them extra resourcing so they can be successful going forward. And we know from 1 July this year, where we have some, finalised numbers of our last financial year, from that day going forward, our numbers are starting to increase, which is really, really pleasing to see that the initial feedback that we've been given and the initial steps that we've taken and putting in place have actually seen the game start to grow over a short period of time.
Marcus, just on the values piece, because when we were talking about the selection policy, you mentioned the values. It might be worth just sharing with the team here the work that's being done on the values and who's helping facilitate that. I think that'll be really interesting for people to hear. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm a big believer in making sure that when you go through a strategic planning process, that we have to underpin that firstly by a really strong foundation around behaviours and expectation of how we conduct ourselves. We can have the best strategic plan in place, but it doesn't actually work out if we don't actually conduct ourselves in a way that is high integrity and high trust. So we've gone through a process with a well-renowned resource called Darren Shand, who was the team manager for the mighty All Blacks back in the day when they went through that decade of dominance, 80% plus win ratio, won World Cups. He was part of that great team, and we've used him as a consultant to help design and build our values. And over that journey, which we've involved all of our community, our board, our staff, all of our states, it's been a great process to get these people involved in, I guess, sharing their views and thoughts on, what is best practice around conduct and behaviour. Because I think once we get that right and our foundation really, really strong, then we can go and execute our plan knowing that we're going to fail and not hit targets along the way, but we're going to do it the right way. And eventually we will succeed if we do fail in our initial short steps, because like any plan, we need to make mistakes along the way. But if we've got a high value on the way our culture needs to be, then I think that's the measure of success going forward. So we're really, really lucky to have had him on board. Also, we met with our strategic planning process. We've engaged a company called Gemba, who have done a lot of work with the AFL, NRL, elite sporting teams within and outside of Australia. So they've got some great data analytics within their business that helps us build our strategic plan. And they've been great all the way through. We're also using them to help with the commercial framework to help overlay with the whole of sport. So with us and our alliance states working closely with Queensland and New South Wales, which I don't think has been done before. The willingness to be able to work together is one thing that really excites me, and Gemba have been helping us build that as well. So a lot of exciting things that have happened over a short period of time. So really looking forward to getting to work over the next 6 to 12 months.
Thanks, Marcus. I might add as well, just on that, we'll be in a position to share the new strategy, but the values that have been developed over a period of months. The good news is that Queensland and New South Wales have agreed to adopt those.
That's fantastic to get that buy-in.
Values. So we won't necessarily have different approaches to that. And if you think about the people that we've brought in to help with the strategy and the values, you've got AFL know-how through Marcus's leadership and experience. Danielle Smith, who's new to our board. Danielle's a Hall of Famer and an ex-director at the Melbourne Storm. So she brings high-performance excellence. Obviously, Brad Fittler, I don't need to tell you who he is and the pedigree he has. So we've got a lot of people that are really helping us shape the organisation so that we can elevate and progress. So, yes, some really exciting things for our community to look forward to.
Yeah, and it's so exciting to hear as a participant in the sport, and Mitch, I'm sure you agree, that culture being driven from the top down, and our states within our country adopting it as well, and particularly New South Wales and Queensland, who are so strong, adopting those values and driving them. It's really exciting. I don't know if I'm on the right track in saying this, but I don't read. I need to disclaim that to my listeners. I do not read. I'm not a reader. I'm a teacher. I'm not a reader. Pete reads a lot, and he reads a lot of books. And one book he read not long ago was about the All Blacks. I think it's called like the 10 values to being an All Black, and the rules to being an All Black. And one of them's like stay back and sweep the sheds and that sort of stuff. So is that what you've sort of modelled it off? Is it that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
I think the book was called Legacy.
That's what it is, yeah.
I think it's all common sense, and what experience has taught me over the long period of time is that the things, the principles, they're no secret, And I've got this saying around doing the ordinary things extraordinarily well. And I think as a team or any business, the great businesses and the great teams are able to do the basics really, really well. And when the pressure does hit, they're still able to do the basics under extreme pressure. And when you can do that, and you've got consistency and everyone knows what you're going to do as a teammate and as a peer, then you get results. And no different to the All Blacks in that all of the common sense, courteous things that they exuded within their reign is no different. So having a stronger foundation around that, where each individual expects the same from each other, I think creates a really strong foundation. And a foundation where it's equal. Just because I'm CEO doesn't mean that I have any other entitlements to anyone else. My leadership style is all about collaboration and working together. So my leadership team, I want them to come up with decisions on topics that we talk about. I want our workforce to come up with decisions on, things that we're discussing. And that's how you have a successful workforce and business going forward, much to what the All Blacks had back in the day.
Yeah, and that just contributes to success, right? So I think, I'm really excited and I can't wait to see all of that come out. Mitch, what are your thoughts?
Unbelievable. I could sit here and listen to, both gentlemen speak all day. I love the collaborative piece. I think in society, there are some people who, complain and whinge and are difficult, but, TFA, are clearly going out of their way to try and, drive positive change throughout the whole country. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's really, really good. And, can't wait to hear more positive announcements, Frosty, with regards to how the trial of, the PCYC goes and other initiatives that you've got that ultimately, it's about growing participation. Really, really good. Really excited.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're all on the same team, right? We all love the sport. We're all here because we genuinely love it. We've been doing it since we could just start walking, most of us anyway. But again, guys, I'm going to wrap up because we are running out of time. But we just want to thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast today. Our listeners are going to really appreciate this, and it's just going to help people really get to know you guys and what you're doing and the work that you're contributing to our game a little bit more in depth and better. So, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedules. Mitch and I obviously work full-time jobs too, so we're ultra busy, but you guys are probably a little bit busier than us, so we definitely need to thank you for that. But look, we'd love to get you guys on maybe in season 2 just to have a little bit of an update and see where you guys are at, maybe after NTLs, and we can have another chat and touch base then.
Absolutely. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate you having me on anytime.
Thank you. Agreed. And likewise, looking forward to coming back.
Great.
All right, Mitch, that was such a bloody great chat with Christian and Marcus. How did you feel about that? That was awesome.
I think they were really generous with their time. I think it was a really good insight with regards to the overall structure of what, Marcus is trying to build. And I love the fact that, he's trying to get everyone aligned and building, from the ground up with regards to values and other bits and pieces.
Yeah, it sounds like they're both just really trying to drive a strong culture, and anyone within any type of leadership or that has leadership experience knows how important culture is to success. So, that is so bloody good to hear, and I'm really, really excited for the future for our sport in the country.
Indeed.
Hey, this is a game that I've come up with, Mitch, for you for once.
Great. I love games. You know that,
I know.
right?
I know. Now, I was sitting here all day thinking, how can I get the listeners involved in the car? What could be something funny that we could do? And a few people, look, I'll start by saying this. A few people have asked me, what's the age gap between you and Mitch? Oh. And I said, I don't know. I'm a millennial and he's a boomer, I think. So, are you?
47.
What's a boomer, though?
Oh, I'm a boomer. Like my kids like...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a boomer. I'm an old dude.
All right, great. So I thought the game today could be for you to prove to everyone that you know your slang. Oh. You know your millennial, Gen Z, whatever slang. Oh. So I'm going to read you out some slang, some acronyms that you need to guess what they mean. And if you want to, you can try and put them in a sentence. And I genuinely believe, Mitch, I believe in you.
Okay, thank you.
You've got 2 young kids, teenagers. You can do this. You've probably used half of these things.
Yes.
Here we go.
6, 7 is all I hear from my youngest. 6,
don't
7.
Repeat that. That's awful.
Oh, come come on, man.
All right, I've got 11. So we're going to start with a really easy one, pretty straightforward. Main character. What does it mean?
Main character vibe, you think, is that like they're like the alpha, they're the most important person. Is that right?
Yep, a confident attitude where a person acts as if they are the protagonist in the story of their own life, like you're the main character. That's pretty spot on. Well done. All right, the next one, I'm going to try and say them without any expression too, so it doesn't give half of them away. No cap.
That means don't lie. No lying.
Ah, not lying, telling the truth. Well done.
Yeah, no cap.
See, you're all over this. You probably know them better than I do. I had to Google half of them, so I'm maybe the boomer
Again,
in
it's
this
my
relationship.
kids. It's how they all talk. It's like no cap. I'm like, what? I'm not wearing a hat, you dickhead.
Wait, yeah, I am wearing a hat, you idiot. All right, next one. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Is that like
Put it
it's a
put
good
it in a
vibe?
sentence.
I went to a party and it was a vibe. It was fun. No,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
I don't know.
It can be used to describe the feeling of a place, person, situation, not a shit situation, or a piece of music or something that is unique or special quality. So like,
okay,
for example, someone might walk past in a really nice outfit and I'll be like, oh, it's a vibe.
right. Okay.
She's a vibe. He's a vibe. Something like that. Because it can be a person too.
Okay, there you go.
All right, next one. I'm dead.
I don't know. I don't know how. I pass. I don't know what that means.
I'm dead. So that means like I'm shocked, embarrassed, or you find something hilarious. So you might, for example, when you didn't turn the mic on and did 45 minutes of
Yes.
recording, I was pissing myself going, oh my God, I'm dead.
Ah,
That's so funny.
Yes.
Or it could be like you're shocked or embarrassed about something too.
Okay.
Next one. Here we go. They're getting harder as we go. That slaps.
that slaps. I'm going to hazard a guess and say that's fantastic. That's great. Give it a clap. That slaps. No?
Clap, that slaps. Now that's showing your age. But yes, it means it's sort of similar to like, oh, that hits different. Like it's something that you obviously rate or love. So like I might be eating a triple cheeseburger from McDonald's and I'm like, oh, that slaps. Something like that. Mind you, I had Macca's in bed the other night after Park Comp Grand Finals because Pete and I both forgot to cook dinner and we got home so late that we just ordered Uber Eats and literally sat in bed eating McDonald's and we both looked at each other and I was like, this cheeseburger slaps. So that's how you'd use it in a sentence.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next one. It's an acronym, so you need to tell me what it stands for.
Oh, fuck. Rightio, here we go.
IYKYK.
If you know, you know.
Oh, he's too good. This is too easy. I should
No, I
have
don't
done
think
them harder.
it's easy at all. It's not
It
easy.
is.
It's not.
You're nailing it. All right, what does FML mean?
It's something my life. Fuck my life.
Yeah, that's it. It's also a move in touch football. So you run your ML,
Yes.
and then your fake ML is your FML.
Okay, there you go. Yep.
Put a touch one in there for you guys.
Love it.
Next one. I can't even.
I have to pass. I don't know. If you say I can't even, I don't know.
I can't even deal with you right now. Is how you would put it in a sentence. Like you're
Right.
overwhelmed by something like,
I can't.
oh my God, I can't even.
Right. Okay.
Is how you would say it. See, if I say it with expression, you pick it up a little bit easier. Okay, this one's good. This one's good. What is a soft launch?
Like a soft launch. Like if you're going to have a...
What's going through your head right now?
No, I don't... I'm going to sound like I don't know.
Soft launch, and there's also something called a hard launch, which is the opposite.
So like if you have like a soft launch, like you're opening up a new store, you might have a soft launch where like you only have a few people and it's like a trial. But I don't think that's right. So I've got no idea.
So in my terms, a soft launch is discreetly posting like your new babe on socials without tagging them, or maybe not showing their face. Like you put something up on your stories of like their back. For example.
Right.
A hard launch, like is polar opposite. So out of nowhere, you put up a photo of your new
Bang,
boyfriend,
here's
girlfriend.
the new dude or here's the
You
new girl.
tag them, and you name them. So that's a hard launch.
Okay.
Yeah. And the last one, Mitch.
I need to work on
no.
my Riz.
Oh, God.
My kids would be like,
I
"Dad,
hope
you're
your kids
such
are
a
listening to
loser.
this.
You're such a loser, Dad."
That is so good. All right, the last one, Mitch, this is so straightforward. Slay.
What is the word?
Slay.
Slay. You killed it. You did great. you slayed it.
Yep. To do something exceptionally well or be impressive. So, like, we are slaying this podcast, right?
We are. We are.
Oh, that's so good. That was too easy. Next time I do a game, I'm going to make it way more challenging. You nailed it. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap up for today's episode. Thanks so much for joining us again. We really appreciate having you guys here. And like we said, we're a new podcast, and we really want you guys to keep subscribing, following, sharing, doing all of that. And yeah, Mitch, have you got anything else to add for the end of the episode?
Nah, just a really good episode. Thanks for everyone for their continued support.
Awesome. And next week, we've got another really exciting episode coming out. Mitch and I are going to do a little 21 questions episode where we get to know each other a little bit better, and you guys get to get a little bit more of an insight on what we're about, and get to know us a little bit better too. So yeah, we look forward to having you guys on next week. That's full time, and thanks for joining us, Touchheads.
See you guys.